This year particularly is very important because it comes at a confluence where we are exiting NDS1 and entering into NDS2. Our Permanent Secretary has just received a zero draft of our National Development Strategy 2. This will be the guiding footprint of what we'll discuss here and going forward. So all the issues that are coming up from the public, from stakeholders, public sector, investors, civil society, are all encompassed in our national strategy, the second tranche of it, and will inform the budget. I wouldn't want to preempt what will be or what won't be in that budget. I think we're just a few weeks away from that announcement, but I can assure you that it will be a people-centered budget. It will be a workers' budget, a business-friendly budget. As always, when we look in retrospect, policies have yielded results, and have been good results.
Just as a follow-up, please can just answer that one. We are talking about monocurrency. The minister also highlighted the issue of perception, which has been the biggest elephant in the room in terms of how people have confidence in the single currency. What are the strategies going forward that you want to engage the issue of monocurrency to create confidence in the people?
No, I think the minister has already highlighted that monocurrency is not an event. It's a process which we have already started. And the introduction of the zinc is actually part of the monocurrency process. But the plan or the journey to monocurrency, there's many other conditionalities that we've set for ourselves, like a stable macroeconomic and monetary environment. We should have the reserves to support our currency at a certain level, but more importantly, we should also have the citizens of this country having confidence, as we are already seeing that there is actually confidence in the thing. Inflation is coming down. We actually expect that by the first quarter of 2026, we will have single-digit inflation. And I think once we get to single-digit inflation, which we have also demonstrated that given how we have sustained the macroeconomic stability from August of last year into this year, that we can actually sustain a very robust monetary and physical environment. Once we reach to single-digit inflation numbers, I think it won't matter even to you whether you've got US dollars or whether you've got zinc in your pocket. But I think maybe that journey might actually be completed by the citizens, where the interchanging of the US and the local currency will now be indifferent. But all I'm trying to say is that it's a journey that we are actually traveling, and it's a journey that we are actually supporting by sound monetary policy, sound fiscal policy, and we actually believe that we are actually far much ahead of that journey. Where we thought by now would be the usage of the local currency is now gone up to about 40% in terms of the total transactions that are occurring in the market. But our own target had initially been much lower than that number of 40%. So in terms of the plan, in terms of the market acceptance, not what we are pushing as government or as policymakers, but what the market is actually very comfortable in accepting the local currency, in actually supporting the price stability. We actually believe that we are on a very good footing as far as that journey is concerned.
Are there any incentives to the industry that promote value addition?
Look, we have always had various incentives as government, and the growth that we have seen within the manufacturing sector. That's why structurally the manufacturing sector is now the biggest sector in this economy. It is also again a reflection of the policy measures that we have been implementing as part of the NDS1 and the ones that will continue to implement as part of NDS2 that actually support industrialization, that actually support the manufacturing sector. There are various incentives in terms of importation of raw materials, importation of machinery and equipment, and various projects that get economic processing zone status. Some are supported with the national project status. So those are all various incentives that we have been introduced in the past to support the industry. But again, which also reflects that they've worked. How do we know that they've worked? They've worked because structurally we have always wanted to shift our economy to become an industrialized economy, to become a manufacturing economy. And the fact that now the manufacturing sector is the biggest sector in the economy, it reflects the achievement of those policies.
Thank you so much for staying.